This time on Sydney Harbour Force.
Around 10 packages of cocaine have washed up onto Malabar Beach.
Police officers Jared and Paul
Jesus!
battle rough seas as they race to stop illicit drugs from falling into the wrong hands.
We've got to be very conscious that we could run out of water really quickly. There's something there, Paul, I think.
Fisheries law enforcers Joel and Molly go undercover.
We may have to just go and stop this before it gets any worse, Molly.
To bring down illegal poachers stealing endangered shellfish.
Fisheries officer. Yeah. Come to check your catch.
Tug wattle take me astern at a speed of 0.4 knots.
And navigating officer Sophie puts her reputation and naval career on the line.
Worst case scenario is like we crash into another ship, or I run the ship aground.
To unearth a billion-dollar warship from a narrow dockyard.
Coming real close to that corner of the dock.
Iconic Sydney Harbour. It's one of the biggest and busiest waterways on the planet.
You need to move through, please!
But behind the beauty lies a beast.
Being on the water is a dangerous place. Sydney Harbour's most unforgiving.
Hands.
Keeping this giant harbour running takes an elite team.
Stop the vessel now!
Being in the water police, you never know what you're going to get.
It's a boat. Someone's sitting on the bow.
The office is the best city in the world.
Dockmasters, Canberra.
Yeah, Canberra, Dockmaster.
We are ready to start pumping.
Okay, roger. We'll start to flood the dock.
Closed supply breaker, transformer number 7. Closed supply breaker, transformer number 6. Transformer number 5.
I want to get some ship's power. It's going to take us a while. We have to undock today. We've done an extreme amount of work on our diesel and our power generation systems. So today we're sort of about 24 hours behind where we should be. Yeah, copy. We'll start back up.
HMAS Canberra's engineering commander Griff Eldridge and his team are struggling to get their power generators running. After a 5-month refit, the Navy need one of their biggest and most expensive warships back at sea.
Nothing's been run for a couple of months. So like if you go overseas, you leave your car at the airport, you've either got a flat battery or flat tyres. And that's what we have to do now, is we have to get our batteries charged up, our engines running nice and smoothly, before we can give our confidence to the bosses to say, yeah, we're good to manage our own problems.
The team's starting to feel the pressure a little bit, and we can't afford to let timelines slip anymore.
Just almost like a checklist that I need to cross off as I go and say, we recommend we go. That's all.
HMAS Canberra's commanding officer, Captain Terry Morrison, must undock the $1.4 billion landing helicopter dock ship today. Sister ship HMAS Adelaide is due to dock for her major maintenance period, which means Canberra must be ready to respond to any requirements from the Australian government.
Challenges are undocking safely, getting our power back so that we can operate our systems, and then manoeuvring the ship out of a very tight dock and safely back to a berth alongside Sydney.
But as engineers race to get the generators powered up before the ship is refloated, a major problem emerges.
Our wind is from the east at about the 8 to 10 knot mark, gusting up to 15, so that's going to be the key factor for the undocking.
The wind speed has increased on the harbour, and Lieutenant Commander Sophie Going must ensure the wind gust speed does not move the ship sideways, risking a collision with the dock.
Ideally, we'd like it less than 10 knots. It's sitting around the 8 to 10 knot mark at the moment, but gusting up to 15. So we're trying to look for that key weather window to get the most dangerous part done, which is the move out of the dock itself.
Sophie, a navigating officer on exchange from the Royal New Zealand Navy, has the responsibility to reverse the 27,000-ton warship out of the narrow dock, using tug vessels to help offset the wind gusts. she must rotate the ship 180 degrees among congested harbour traffic before berthing alongside at the Navy's operational wharf.
Being such a large ship with a large windage, the wind really affects us, pushing us bodily sideways. Worst case scenario is like we crash into another ship or I run the ship aground.
The Navy is already running 24 hours behind schedule due to maintenance delays.
We've got number 7, 8, 9 and 10 working, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 not working at the moment.
If they can't fix their electrical issues and unberth the ship before the wind increases, they will be forced to delay another day, costing hundreds of thousands of dollars.
We have a responsibility, not only to the safety of our crew, but the government as well, to have this ship brought back online.
Close supply breaker, transformer number 4.
But I know I want to get this done today. We've got to get this done today. Yeah. Priority is a diesel. I want a diesel on.
Just outside the Navy base, Police Sergeant Jared Hollands and Senior Constable Paul Petches are patrolling the high-security exclusion zone around the dock.
I don't know if he's Navy or not, but he's cut through those Navy waters.
Oh, has he? Yeah. The yellow one's there, yeah.
That bloke there, is he? So we just seen a boat come through. He was on the wrong side of the channel, and he's cut around a corner, and he's actually gone into naval waters. The Navy guys are pretty protective of their base and their waters.
Breaching the restricted area is considered a federal offence with fines up to $1,100. And with the undocking of the Navy's largest warship, security is heightened for potential terrorist activities.
Just stay there, we'll come to you.
Look, listen, the reason why we stopped you, you're coming down that wrong side of the channel there and also breaching the waters of the naval headquarters over here. So you can't be within those yellow marker buoys. No, you can't. So, yeah.
You're on that wrong side of the channel. Yeah. So all the traffic, the flight traffic's going that way. You're coming head onto it. And then obviously the naval water's just, it's pretty paramount. You've got to stay out of it. So.
Yeah, I'm just trying to stay off the windy side of the harbour, trying to find the bait schools and stuff, Yeah, right. So I thought I'd sneak up this side, but yeah.
Have you got a boat licence handy? Have you been out long?
Got out like 6:30.
Oh, it's all right. Oh, geez, you're keen. You're keen. Just whilst we're there, whilst I got you nice and close, I'll just give you a quick breath test and I'll give you that back. Oh, yeah, Jesus. Any alcohol today?
No, mate.
No. All right, just stand by.
With 5 fatalities on Sydney waterways in the last 12 months, water police are cracking down on drinking on the harbour. Boat drivers must have a blood alcohol concentration level below 0.05.
Just count the 10 in a sec.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
All good, you're all good for that. Have you got all your life jackets? You've got 2 life jackets. Can I just see 2 of those? Yeah. Just some of your safety gear. Fire extinguisher if you've got one of those.
Yeah, Water Police 3-2, Water Police 3-2, this is portable.
Yeah, go ahead, Police 3-2.
Yeah, are you in a position to head to Malabar? We have reports coming in that 10 big like packages believed to be cocaine have been located on the beach down there.
All good?
All good.
All right.
An urgent radio call from Marine Area Command lets the fishermen off with only a caution for trespassing through naval waters.
Yeah, copy, mate. We'll start making our way. Mate, it's pretty big offshore. It'll take us a little while, but mate, any further info, the diver's going to start making their way down or anything like that?
Yeah, mate, the divers are readying themselves now and their ETA is about 15 minutes.
Organised crime detectives have seized 10 suspected cocaine packages after they washed up on a popular family swimming beach at Malabar, just south from the harbour entrance. Jared and Paul need to ensure there's no other drug packages floating in the water, which could end up in the wrong hands.
So the estimated street value is in the ballpark of about $4 million. You're looking approximately $400,000 per brick. So that's quite a substantial haul. The other concern is that it's a public beach, it's quite popular, but we obviously need to get down there and secure the scene as best as we can.
Just last week, Jared was part of a sting operation to take down an alleged drug trafficker on Port Botany in Sydney's south.
Keep those hands up.
The suspect was found to have 199 bricks of cocaine on board his vessel. The police intervention stopped $80 million worth of the dangerous drug from hitting Sydney's streets.
Yeah, there can be quite a substantial amount of drugs that do come through via the waterways. Just recently, the last 12 months, we've seized in excess of 3.5 to 4 tonnes worth of illicit substances. So
we have to obviously determine where these other bricks have come from, and we might be able to track it back to the source, and obviously that could potentially open up another investigation.
But the odds of Gerard and Paul finding more drug packages close to the shoreline have been compromised by rough 5-metre seas just outside the harbour.
Depending on the conditions, depends on how close into shore we can get. The weather is working against us. Reports of some of the swells being 5 metres, so logistically things are working against us. We'll go inside, have a look and see what we can come up with.
Closed supply breaker, transformer number 5. I just need N1 chiller to shock the system. That's all I need. As soon as that's done, then I'll tell you, politely, to undock us. All right?
We need to undock before the wind gets up. That's what I'm worried about.
Yes.
The crew of the recently refurbished HMAS Canberra must unberth from the naval dockyard before the wind speed on the harbour picks up.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 not working at the moment.
But last-minute electrical circuit failures have left the power generators struggling to run the ship's onboard systems.
The combination of 3 generators that we have on board, 2 diesels and the gas turbine, produce a nominal voltage of 6,600 volts. We are a floating power station.
The main thing is to get us in a position where we can safely undock today. I need that sort of assurance in the next probably 15, 20 minutes.
Yep.
So that I can press go or no go with the dockmaster.
Engineering Commander Griff has ordered a final power test before Assistant Dockmaster Chris Campbell can remove the auxiliary shore power cables that are currently supplying electricity to the ship.
There's 12 power cables all around the ship that have got to come off. They're 125 metres long, weighing in over a tonne in weight per cable. Once the wind picks up in the afternoon, it starts to get just on the limits for moving the vessel around.
Tug Warrior, Tug Martinique, this is Canberra, Channel 17, over.
Good morning, pilot Martinique.
A strong crosswind is already gusting over 28 kilometres per hour, increasing the risk for navigator Sophie of the wind pushing the ship into the dock.
Any steady wind is easily offset by tugs, but when you've got a gust that comes through, it obviously puts a lot of pressure on the ship, which moves it. It's the gusts that are problematic as opposed to the actual wind itself.
Sophie will be assessed today on her ability to pilot the ship safely back to Fleet Base East number 1.
If today goes smoothly, Sophie will receive an unrestricted naval pilot licence, allowing her to navigate any international warship within the ports of Australia.
Sophie will need to be cognizant of when the stern comes out through the entrance to the dock in case we catch the wind. We've got 5 metres either side of the ship, so she needs to be spatially aware of where the front and the back of the ship is as it comes out through the dock.
I think if you don't have nerves about moving something this size, then you're probably doing it wrong. We don't really do it enough for you to ever get completely 100% comfortable with the nuances associated with moving to such a large ship. So I'm always a little bit nervous before every move.
All right, so let's proceed. Kate, generators all good to go?
PG1 is online, ready to go.
Good to go with breakers? We're all in remote?
Yep.
Back in the ship's central control station, engineers run the final power test to determine if the undocking can proceed.
Très bien, fantastique. That's French. A very good cheek.
The power test is successful.
So engineering department, we're pretty happy with where we are with our power requirements. We've done a few tests and those tests have passed.
But the final decision to undock comes down to the ship's commanding officer, Captain Terry Morrison.
At this stage, sir, I recommend to you that we undock.
All right, happy to proceed.
And a lot of hard work has gone into making sure that we are now currently on ship's own power. That is all. We're in country.
We had a wave height report, maximum height of 5 metres off Port Botany, 6.67 nautical miles down there.
Yeah.
But yeah, depending on what that swell is doing, if it is still up, if it hasn't dropped off.
Police officers Sergeant Gerard Hollands and Senior Constable Paul Petches have been tasked to search for drugs near the narrow entrance to Malabar Beach after 10 sea-logged packages of cocaine washed ashore.
But our divers are going to head down to it and they're going to go off the shore and dive to see if there's anything with it and try and retrieve any further bricks. Jesus.
The drug parcels were part of a foiled smuggling plot by the Australian Federal Police, where offenders threw up to $200 million worth of cocaine overboard during a high-speed pursuit.
Yeah, the conditions aren't great. There are some bigger sets coming through, sort of that 4.5 metre, but we're able to make, 16, 17 knots, which is not too bad given the conditions, given the direction of the swell. I don't think we're going to be able to get in too close, but we'll have to assess it once we get down onto the scene. You wouldn't stay out here unless you really had to. But we've still probably got another mile or two to go.
In the past 5 years, there's been an explosion in the number of boats loaded with cocaine making the journey across the Pacific Ocean to feed Australia's lucrative drug market.
Plenty of weight behind that, hasn't it? Like, look at it.
Oh, yeah.
Look at it going in there.
Hope you're on the wrong end of that. Mate, I don't even think we're going to be able to get in.
Over 300 vessels have come to grief in and around Sydney Harbour. The rocky coastline is littered with shipwrecks. Gerard must rely on his depth sounder to carefully navigate the narrow inlet, but search conditions are far from ideal.
It's a pretty narrow bait.
Yeah.
But you're cool. So just having a little look at the charts and the depth. As you can see, it's pretty narrow bait, so you've got to thread the needle a little bit. But looking at the charts, it's sort of unsurveyed a little bit, and so we've got to worry about the depth. And in a boat like this, we obviously can't raise our engines, so we've got to be very conscious that we could run out of water really quickly.
If the search is suspended, more cocaine bricks could wash up onto the public beach and risk falling into the wrong hands.
We can see it's gone from 14 down to 6, and then even in there it's getting in 1 metre. Yeah. 1.3.
Gangway's off, dockyard ready to stand by. Walking lines all set, teams in position.
Roger.
Back inside the harbour, navigating officer Sophie Going is preparing to pilot HMAS Canberra out of the narrow dockyard. But wind gusting up to 30 kilometres per hour is making the complex manoeuvre even more difficult.
A little bit tight today because you're leaving the dock. We don't have that much room, and obviously the wind can get to a point where it overcomes our power that we have available to manoeuvre.
Tug Waddle, Canberra, take my stern to port with 5 tonnes. Roger.
With the assistance of 4 tug vessels to offset the wind, Sophie must carefully reverse the 27,000-tonne warship out of the dock before rotating the ship 180 degrees in the busy harbour and berthing alongside the wharf.
Essentially, I'm directly responsible to the captain for the safe navigation of the ship.
The 4 tugs under Sophie's control are led by civilian tug captain Dom McCarran.
So these smaller tugs, they'll do the initial pulling out, and then once we have enough room, we'll come in and make fast and take over. The boys are going to have a bit of a challenge today. Wind always comes up, it's just when you don't want it to. Yeah, they're certainly going to have their work cut out for them.
Sophie will need to make sure that the tugs are balanced up to keep the ship straight, because the window for error is quite small. We've got 5 metres either side of the ship as it comes out through the dock.
Okay, so we've got no weight for the walking lines right now in transfer.
There's a lot on the line for Sophie, both her reputation and unrestricted naval pilot's licence, if the mission is deemed a success. Crashing into the dock would result in millions of dollars in repairs.
Canberra, Dock Master.
Canberra.
Our port line's got, port quarter's got weight on it.
Roger, do you want to just move us into the centre line of the dock?
The strong crosswind has pushed the ship out of the centre of the dock.
Tug wattle, take me astern at a speed of 0.4 knots.
Not copy. Take you astern, 0.4 knots.
In addition to tug vessels, dockyard workers race to reposition warping lines. A system of ropes connected from the ship to the wharf side, which will hold Canberra in position if the mission has to be aborted.
Thrusting 20% port.
Canberra, we're coming to a standstill.
Can I just get a report on what our walking lines are doing, if we're still connected up, down, aft, because we need to get those.
And Brad, your starboard line is tight on the dock, starboard quarter.
That's what's checking our sternway here.
Just getting ready if anything happens that we can respond quickly.
Tell the dockmaster request no weight on your walking line.
Dockmaster, Canberra, we've stalled here.
The walking lines that have been used to steady the aft end of the ship have come to the end of their tether, and what it's done is it's stalled the ship coming astern and out of the dock.
Tug Martinique, come in, connect up on recess bollard number 6.
With less than 1 metre between the ship and the dock wall, Sophie orders Dom's tug vessel to attach a rope to the ship's port bollard in a last-ditch effort to stop the landing helicopter dock ship from crashing into the wharf.
This is one of the more critical times right here.
She's coming real close to that corner of the dock.
Look at it. Oh, yeah. Look at it going in there. Maybe on the wrong end of that. Massive.
Rough seas are hampering police officers Jared and Paul's drug search after waterlogged packages of cocaine washed up on a family beach.
118, equal 13.
There's something there, Paul. I think. Oh, I just saw something in the water just under the surface. Yeah, just want to double check, that's all. Just given what's out here and what they've found. So it's not just the large swells that are giving us problems. The water is quite churned up, so that white water, those white caps are making it really difficult for us to see anything that might be on the surface.
Police divers have commenced a shore dive to search the water closer to the beach. But the choppy seas are making it virtually impossible to detect anything on the surface.
It's not worth pushing it. Water Police 3-2 on channel.
Water Police 3-2.
We're not going to be able to get right in close to shore. I don't know if there's any GDs down there at the moment that can see us. This is about the extent that we're going to get in.
Copy that.
I think that justifies the decision not to go in any further. You're looking at the side of us and where the waves are breaking. Yeah, we could push it, but right now, you know, of us in the boat, safety of the boat is the main thing. That's paramount.
Stop the vessel now!
Working in conjunction with other law enforcement agencies, Marine Area Command has intercepted just under $1 billion of illicit substances in the last 12 months.
We attempt to intercept all the major importations of drugs into Australia. Each year we seize millions of dollars of drugs that would otherwise slip through and potentially end up on the streets.
Despite making the decision to suspend the search, the drugs seized on the beach have stopped a further $4 million worth of cocaine entering Sydney's drug market.
We're just making our way back to Sydney.
Dockmaster, Canberra, we've stalled here. We need those walking lines off so we can keep coming astern.
Okay, right side.
Warping lines designed to steady HMAS Canberra's movement out of the narrow dock have stalled the ship's momentum. And now the increased harbour wind gusts are pushing the ship sideways into the wharf.
Side walking lines are clear. Boats under your full control.
Tug wattle, take my stern to port 1 metre.
Down to port 1 metre. Take your stern to port. I'll go as far as I can before I start hitting the wharf.
Navigating Officer Sophie orders the tug vessels to pull the ship out of the dock to avoid damaging the $1.4 billion warship.
So in a very tight spot here, haven't got much clearance astern.
Now we're going to be clear of that.
The stakes are doubly high for Sophie. Any major mistake would also put the chance of obtaining her unrestricted naval pilot's licence in severe jeopardy.
Is the bow going to be clear?
We're clear of the wharf, sir. So, sir, now what we're looking for is our bridge inside this turning box.
Ship clear of the roundhead dolphin.
Roger.
The bow clears the dock. It's a massive relief for Sophie, but her mission is far from over.
Yeah, so we're clear of the dock now. We're just positioning the ship to start the second phase of the move.
The second phase involves Sophie reversing the landing helicopter dock ship into the middle of the congested harbour, rotate 180 degrees, whilst battling heavy crosswinds before attempting to berth alongside the Navy's operational wharf.
Intentions to start the swing, I'll disconnect Wattle, who's currently down aft. They're the one that's towing astern.
Yep.
And I'll get them to reconnect up on the engine
Who's
tug.
going to keep us moving aft?
Well, we're going to use our momentum, but we don't want to actually keep moving too far aft, and I need them to come around to the engine
Why
tug.
don't you use your forward one
For what, sorry, sir?
to move his engine tug? I just
Because
don't want
I
to be...
need the forward one up ahead of us to brake us as we come down. They're our only
Sure.
brake once we
Sure,
turn.
sure.
If you're more comfortable, I'll turn and I'll hold us before we move.
I'd like to move it a bit further out.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
The wind speed has increased and is now gusting over 37 kilometres per hour. Commanding Officer Terry Morrison wants to move the ship further out into the middle of the harbour to allow more room for error during the turn.
Okay, happy, commence turn.
Roger. Tug Martinique, increase 6 tonnes.
Martinique, increase 6 tonne. All working together. It's like a conductor with an orchestra, and we're just instruments in the show.
Tug Warrior, Tug Martinique, lift off 3 tonnes.
Stop 3. Martinique, lift off 3 tonnes.
The wind's got a bit of the ship now.
That wind just blowing you throughout the turn, so we'll just use the weight in those bit 6 and bit 26 tugs, plus the bow thruster will walk us back onto the line.
In a bold move, Sophie has decided to use the wind to help swing the ship into position. If she gets it wrong, the unpredictable wind gusts could force a collision with another vessel or run the ship aground.
We've got a fair amount of swing on. You can see out the bow there, that rate of rotation. We can feel that wind increasing too a little bit. Wind always comes up at just when you don't want it to.
I'm sure there's lots of people that do the right thing, but there's always that minority that, for whatever reason, is either just ignorant of the rules or just don't care what they are and just ignore every bit of advice and every sign that there is.
Fisheries law enforcement officers, veteran Joel Cox and rookie Molly O'Halloran, are embarking on a special undercover operation.
Before you know it, you're up to $1,500, $1,700 per person.
In order to protect the seafood industry, which generates $370 million annually, Fisheries officers conduct regular patrols throughout Sydney Harbour, in waters offshore and in hidden estuaries.
And we're going to spend most of our time today going around the areas trying to detect any illegal activity.
But today, Joel and Molly are targeting the heavily protected nature reserves to the south of the harbour, and the element of surprise is vital to the success of their operation.
With an area like this, it's so exposed, anyone walking down in uniform, people see you coming from miles away. For all intents and purposes, it just looks like Molly and I are having a nice day at the beach. There's a large government sign, Boat Harbour Aquatic Reserve, don't touch the shellfish here. In Sydney, we have aquatic reserves, and they are areas that are set up to protect the biodiversity of marine life. And in all of those areas, all the shellfish and invertebrates are protected.
Illegal harvesting has already destroyed about 90% of Australia's shellfish reefs. Fisheries law enforcement officers hand out around 2,500 fines each year, totalling over $1 million.
The Rashi with the green sleeve has like a tool in his hand.
Yeah, he's got a dive knife in his hand.
Within minutes, Molly and Joel detect their first offence. But they need to capture enough evidence before they can act.
Looks like Mummy in the pink is the one with the tongs in her hand. Right, she's into it with a spatula now.
She's going at it.
Yeah, got that. Turbot snail in the bucket. It's really important to maintain covert surveillance down here, because once they see you coming over the hill in uniform, they'll drop everything and deny everything, and it just makes everything a lot harder. I just handed something up to the guy in the yellow. Limpets. Now the ladies with the hammer. It's another offence for her. It's frightening that the amount of non-compliance in one spot as soon as the sun comes out, considering that the only way to get down here, that car park, and you walk past two massive signs. I think it's a good idea to check this spot. She's chopping up turbot snails. We may have to just go and stop this before it gets any worse, Molly. This is all going to come down to timing, and hopefully we don't spook one group by dealing with the first one. If you go to those two ladies, I'm going to go and round up these other two lads. New South Wales Fisheries.
Yeah?
Fisheries officer.
Yeah?
Come to check your catch.
Yeah, wrong side. He needs to be on the right-hand side of the channel. There's no real excuse for driving on the wrong side of the road.
After suspending their drug search due to rough seas, officers Jared and Paul are back inside the harbour, targeting vessels driving on the wrong side of the channel.
A waterway like this, where there's a lot of commercial vessels, you know, if you're on the wrong side, on a head-on collision with another boat, it can be pretty hazardous and a lot of potential for some danger.
The channel is one of the main transit routes for the harbour's high-speed passenger ferries. But as police signal the man to pull over, Jared makes a concerning observation.
He's got an open beer bottle near the helm, near the controls. Potentially he's been drinking, so we'll breath test him, just make sure he's under the limit. Hey mate, just take it out of gear, we'll come to you. We've been to several collisions over the years. You know, obviously plenty of minor ones, but unfortunately some pretty significant ones that resulted in deaths and pretty tragic circumstances.
On Sydney's waterways, 35% of boats involved in serious alcohol-related incidents are caused by recreational craft.
Any alcohol today? Yeah, had a couple of beers. Couple of beers. Yeah. When was your last drink? Probably 20 minutes ago.
He has been drinking, so Paul is just going to quickly breath test him. The limit for a vessel is the same as a car, so 0.05. Listen, just a reminder, the limit is 0.05, same as for a car, so if you do go over that, you will be arrested and we'll obviously have to take it back, okay? So.
Have you done one of these before? Yep. Yep, no worries. So I'll just get you to do one long continuous blow into that. Keep going, keep going, keep going.
If he does go over, we'll have to arrest him, we'll have to take him back to our base for a proper breath analysis.
Keep going, that's it. And you can pull that off for us if you can. That's it. Okay.
We'll see what you've got.
At Boat Harbour, a covert fisheries operation targeting shellfish poachers is underway.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9 carteret shells. 1, 2, 3 turban snails. 7, 8 black nerites, okay?
Joel has photographic evidence of the offenders with a variety of species of protected shellfish from an aquatic reserve.
They're both looking at $500 each for carrying out activity breaching the aquatic reserve notification.
Back on the beach, rookie fisheries officer Molly is interviewing 2 more offenders caught poaching endangered marine snails.
So I need to know just clearly who put these 2 in the bucket. That would be you. How many snails or shellfish did you collect today?
I didn't collect any.
You didn't pick any up? We have got some photos of you I have all the evidence, so if you just want to answer that question again, how many did you pick up?
Under 5, yeah.
Under 5?
Yeah, I think so.
I've got the one with the paint scraper as well.
The use of tools is also prohibited as they strip the algae clean off the rocks, which is a vital food source for the protected marine life.
Offences today we have collecting from an aquatic reserve, using these tools to collect, jucking things open and eating them.
It's pretty hard to get a lot of evidence when they're literally eating as they go.
The penalty for collecting from an aquatic reserve can be $500. I'm going to take those tools just because you've been using them in an illegal way today.
Hey, Mole?
Yep.
She's got the lady in the red shucking on the rocks now.
Oh, yep, I can see.
They're definitely not collecting seawater.
Yep, she's going at it.
And from what I can see, they might have just got a little stove on the go up there, so I think they've probably taken it up there to cook and eat, so they don't get apprehended leaving with bags of shellfish. So I'm going to make a beeline for that tent and see what the story is.
Illegally harvested shellfish is often sold on the black market, while some offenders steal for their own personal consumption.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
We're with Fisheries. Just want to check if you have any animals that you took from the water.
You were smacking on the rocks with the hammer? Yes. Okay, so I want to see what she has. You have the shells? No? What did you do with them?
Found quite a few shucked snails.
Turban snails are considered to be a delicacy in soups and stir-fries. But in this aquatic reserve, it is illegal to take just one of these protected snails.
Well, you can see how destructive this is. So 60 snails that have been taken out of the water of this protected area. And with no regard whatsoever, they're just smashing them up on the rocks and loading up a saucepan with them ready for a quick feed. This is please.
Joel calls a Korean translator to help question the suspected poacher.
How many shellfish did you collect here today? What can you tell me about this photograph? You holding a shell and a knife in your hand.
수박 잘랐다고, 수박. That was to cut watermelon and also garlic and chilies.
Do you often walk out into the ocean to cut up chilies, garlic and watermelon with a dive knife?
Today is my first time.
First time walking into the ocean. And you can also tell her I have evidence and I have photos of her illegally harvesting shellfish and breaking them open on the rocks.
Yeah, so right now we've got this vessel pulled over for being on the wrong side of the channel.
This boat driver faces a $250 fine for being on the wrong side of the channel. But if his blood alcohol level is above 0.05, he will be arrested.
Keep going, that's it. And you can pull that off for us if you can. That's it. Okay, so 038.
So mate, look, you have given us a positive result. However, luckily for you, it is just under the legal limit. Cool, we've got 5 life jackets we can see real quick.
The man passes the safety check, so Jared and Paul decide to let him off with a caution for driving on the wrong side of the channel.
When we come up to this corner, we were over on our starboard side and we could see there was the fast ferry coming down and there was another vessel as well. So it just puts them in danger as well. Potential for a collision, a head-on collision, could have been likely.
Can you tell her the penalty for collecting shellfish here is $500? But fishing without a licence is a $200 penalty. It is illegal to break open shellfish on the rocks.
The lady will receive over $1,000 in fines for illegally harvesting shellfish.
Tell her thank you and to enjoy her dinner, her food.
So far, Joel and Molly's undercover stakeout has racked up over $5,000 in fines.
Anything going on?
Is he just looking or is he collecting?
But as their covert operation comes to a close, a snorkeler catches their attention.
It is a bit odd, isn't it? Because you think it can't be that enjoyable in that much wash. Slightly suspect behaviour. Nothing. Can you bring over here, please? No, the one that went under the rock there, the one that you just put your hand in the water, now you can hand that to me. Okay, the one abalone.
It is not illegal to catch abalone from the aquatic reserve, but the popular eating sea snail must be of legal harvesting size.
So it's 11.7, that's how big it should be, and it's coming up at 9.4. So I'm just going to put this sea's abalone back in the water now, so it'll be fine.
You're in possession of a prohibited size abalone. $500 penalty.
This is illegal to be taking abalone off the rocks, okay? The penalty for this is $500.
It is also an offence to use hand tools to remove abalone from the water.
Okay? You have a nice day, sir. Enjoy the rest of your day at the beach.
It's another $1,200 in fines. But for Joel and Molly, it's about getting the message out to protect the marine life for a sustainable fishery.
Yep.
So what we want is to move bodily to starboard before we have any aft movement.
Yeah, agreed.
With the swing in its final stages, it is critical navigator Sophie does not allow the strong wind gusts to push the 27,000-tonne warship into the busy harbour traffic.
Tagawari, stop, no way. Can you let me know once probably the aft end of the bridge is getting into line with the Dolphin, because that's when I'm going to start to get the tug to power ahead. Tagawari, push on 1 tonne.
Push on 1.
So we're just trying to assist the bow thruster and the bow here to keep the Canberra in position on approach to the dock, coming up to another critical phase of the manoeuvre.
Despite 37km/h crosswinds pushing Canberra sideways, Sophie must avoid a collision with sister ship HMAS Adelaide at all costs.
Our sister ship Adelaide is about 30 metres astern of us, which is actually behind us. That's the actual gap between the two ships, which when you consider how long they are and how the size of them, it's really a tight parking space, shall we say.
So we're just conducting the last part of the sternboard into the berth. We've got Adelaide astern of us. We want our entire ship to be outside of her, so should we have any kind of catastrophic failures with tugs, we're not going to back onto her.
Sorry, backs. How we look, mate?
You want to just kiss the fenders when you come on. If you're any more than 0.3 or 0.4 of a knot of lateral movement when you come on, you damage the infrastructure. So just got to keep the ship straight, but also not hit the fenders too hard. 5 metres, yeah. 5 metres.
Tug waddle, another 5 metres to come aft. Tug waddle, stop, no way.
Keep going. 4.
All tugs coming onto the fenders now. Tug Martinique, come in and disconnect.
Tug Martinique, coming in, disconnect.
And HMAS Canberra, Martinique, that's our line recovered.
Roger, thank you Martinique. That's all our requirements for you today.
Thanks very much, lovely job. We'll catch you on the next one.
With the help of Dom's tug fleet, Sophie has successfully undocked and rebirthed one of the Navy's biggest and most expensive warships without incident. But the final verdict on whether Sophie has done enough to receive her naval pilot's licence comes down to the ship's captain and the port services manager.
Yeah, I thought your move out was really good. It was well controlled, good communications across the bridge. People were listening to each other, which is good. That'll only get better.
Intention would be to recommend to the master or tenant the award of your unrestricted pilot qual, so congratulations.
Cheers. I think you put a lot of hours of effort into making sure that it all runs smoothly, and then to finally see that kind of come to fruition and happen exactly how you planned is quite a satisfying feeling. It's over. I no longer have to have nightmares about this.